Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have a very special episode coming at you guys. Today it's the All-Star Race. Yes, I have brought in my own version of a All-Star Race here for the Cup Series. And here is the rules for today's episode. So it's going to be a 4-stage race. Stage 1 is, this is as well, I should mention, at Martinsville Speedway. So stage 1 will be 16 laps. And then stage 2 will be 13 laps. Stage 3 will be 30 laps. So that will be 65 laps at the end to kind of decide everything in the first 3 stages. And then after that, everybody has a qualifying reset. Basically, this means we get the first 65 laps of this race to get a feel for our cars and judge where we need to go. And then everybody makes another qualifying run to set their position for the final stage of 10 laps. And it'll be a 10-lap dash for the All-Star Race victory and $1 million. So very excited to kind of bring this to you guys. I really wanted to try and do something like this season, and finally here we are doing it now. So 4 stages, 75 laps total, 40 cars, by the way. Every single car in this race has an equal engine. That was the kind of idea of bringing in a full field and having equal engines to make it kind of more fair for everybody to have a chance at winning here in Martinsville as we came through into the Martinsville weekend. This race will be run under the lights, by the way. Now, as NASCAR actually puts up a tweet before the event, it's up to the fans to vote. The driver mentioned the most in the replies of this tweet will start from the back in tonight's All-Star Race here. So definitely gonna have to see what happens with that throughout the episode now, as we would get ready though to go into practice here. And we actually brought back the T-Rex paint scheme. I thought back to when Jeff Gordon won the All-Star Race in this very paint scheme here. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna bring in this car once again, just like we did last season at Darlington, and see if we can win the All-Star Race with this paint scheme now. And I got a good feel for the car in practice. I was definitely happy with what I had so far, so I definitely was feeling confident in our abilities to have a good qualifying effort and potentially win the All-Star races. You see, I only put in 2 laps and we were P2 and P1 at the time, but then a tweet came up again from NASCAR a little bit later. The fans have voted Gary Owen will start from the back in the All-Star race. So now I don't even get to qualify here for this race. As you see the responses here, as I actually voted for Joey Logano, of course, him being my rival. Didn't quite work out in my favor now, as you see just everybody, Lation even voting for me, of course, him being a big paint scheme designer for our career mode. There you see the super squad, everybody hopping in on this one, a few of the Nitro drivers as well. I even saw Carnation in here in the replies now, but definitely going to be quite the setback for us for this race, but I'm hopeful that we can, of course, work our way forwards now from the back. We aren't going to be starting dead last because I'm sure there's going to be a couple cars failing inspection and whatnot that will put us maybe a spot or 2 ahead now, as you see the rest of these replies here to put me at the back of the field for this race. So it's going to be a tough one now as I respond. I see how it is. Hashtag going to the front. So we'll see if we can get ourselves to the front of this race here by the end now as we come through into the All-Star race here in the Martinsville Speedway night race, by the way. So Kyle Busch, he is starting at the back along with Joey Logano, our rival for this episode here. So we do move up 2 spots there on the outside row, but we're down here in P38, and like I mentioned, everybody has an equal spec engine provided by NASCAR for this race. So who knows who we're going to see run up front. I mean, already you can see at the very back as the All-Star race is now underway, we got drivers like Noah Gragson, Ryan Preece, who actually won at this track earlier this season, by the way, and last time we ran equal engines, Ryan Preece was able to impress and get himself into the position to get into a car that is capable of making the playoffs and winning a race here and there now as we come through down this back straightaway. Logano behind us here. So of course we just need to find a way to get to that inside as quickly as possible here, as I'm actually trying to make a 3 wide though on the exit of turns 4 with both Preece and Kyle Busch down this front straightaway. So only 15 laps already to go in stage 1. We don't have a whole lot of time. Ryan Blaney just there in front of myself now, as Brad Keselowski right now leads the way out of turns 4 as I'm still finding that opportunity to get to the inside, but I unfortunately was not having 0 luck at this point here as I continue to go 3 wide on the outside of the 12 and the 18. Now as we head down to 14 to go, you see we got the 78 of BJ McLeod in front of us. I should mention that for the other races for the rest of this season in the career mode, the 78 will now be driven by CJ McLeod McLaughlin. So I'll show that paint scheme off in the next career mode episode now as we go up the inside there of McLeod, or at least attempted to now as we come through the turn 2. So we had gotten to the inside now on lap 4 of 16 in this first stage. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had taken the lead, and he immediately was starting to drive away from the pack. So Stenhouse taking advantage of this equal engine situation and making it work for him now as we came through to 11 laps to go. We were starting to get really aggressive here, make it 3 wide up the inside of Todd Gilliland as well as Zane Smith for a moment as I got into the back of Smith's McLaren teammate of Eric Jones right now. But we continued to just, like I say, get aggressive, make some 3 wide moves. There you saw Jones in the middle, Chastain on the far outside, Kyle Larson, our teammate, just in front of us there in P28. Kyle Larson never really has had a lot of success at Martinsville Speedway, and showing it once again here today as we come through now to 8 laps to go in stage 1. Stenhouse was nearly a straightaway ahead of second place at this point. Stenhouse was dominating stage 1 here as we pass Kevin Harvick, the final all-star race, by the way, of his Cup Series career. Now as we go down into turns 3 up the inside of Larson. So we just continue moving our way forwards, and we're doing a pretty good job here. Already up to the top 25 after just 9 full laps here with 7 laps remaining in stage 1. Car feel is pretty good right now, boys. I don't know if we got a car capable of running with the 47, but we definitely have something here, and definitely are going to have a shot if the lap traffic kind of comes into effect. There you hear myself on the radio for the first time tonight here in the All-Star Races. We're up the inside of the 37 of the rookie of Sheldon Creed. Stay tuned for some news on that JTG team here in the coming episodes, by the way, in the career mode now, as I would also continue up towards the top 20, even up the inside of Justin Haley. Only 4 laps to go at this point in stage 1, as well up the inside of Brandon Jones, who has a win this season, by the way. Now, as Stenhouse, he was already up to lap traffic, but had such a huge gap that he was under no pressure from second place here now as we came through out of turns 4, passing Austin Dillon. Then we get to the back of Bowman, our teammate, up the inside of him into turns 1, and now we will pass Alex Bowman. There's you see the tweet from NASCAR. Owen has climbed up to P16 already. Hashtag All-Star Race. Now, as I felt like just kind of being a little bit creative with this episode and add in those little kind of tweets there at certain moments now as we come through out of turns forward. Now to the inside of Daniel Suarez. We are almost towards the top 10 already in the final couple laps of this first stage. But you look up ahead, Josh Balicki, he's actually up in the mix. He's not in the normal races in the career mode, but with the equal spec engine, it has allowed a team like his to actually jump into this race and take part in it here in this 40-car field now as we're up to P14 on this final lap of stage 1 to the back of the 88 of William Byron, one of our affiliate teammates. Stenhouse won stage 1. We end up P14 here in the first and opening stage. So definitely a great result in my opinion compared to where we started at the very back of the field after being sent there by the fan vote now as Stenhouse, Hamlin, Almirola in the 43, Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, your top 5. Then we got drivers like Corey LaJoie up there as well, but then we got Tyler Reddick, Harrison Burton, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski all running pretty strong. Bubba Wallace up there in P11 as you see the rest of the stage 1 finishing order on your screen. So 3 drivers a lap down. Noah Gregson, Kevin Harvick, both definitely a surprise there. And then we got John Hunter Nemechek in last place. Now as we get ready to go green for the start of this second stage, and we actually have less laps here in stage 2, just by a few laps now as we are underway here in stage 2 as we're going to go through into the EM segment here for the All-Star Race. There you have the AM segment here now as we go down into turns 1 now up to P12 up the inside of Eric Jones to move up into P11 on this 4th lap of stage 2. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won stage 1 in dominating fashion and continues to lead the way as he comes through down towards turns 1 and we are now clear of that 0-2 of Jones. In the very next corner, we get up the inside of the 23 of Bubba Wallace. We pass in, move up into the top 10, and then to the inside of the 8 of Tyler Reddick, and we move past him. So now up to P9, and we would waste no time running down our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Chase Elliott and get to the inside of him here as we go down into turns 1, and yet another pass being made. And these passes were not hard at all. We were doing a great job just getting through the field here. Very confident in the car at this point here. Now let's go down into turns 3 now, of not a lot of time, of course, left in stage 2, just about 6 laps to go when we cross the line. Steno still continues to lead the way as he's closing in on lap traffic, and we were starting to reel in the top 7 drivers, but they had opened up enough of a gap here that within the final 3 laps of the second stage there really wasn't enough time to be able to actually get to a driver like Harrison Burton there in P7, Corey LaJoie up there in P6. So we come through to start the final lap of stage 2, and we really haven't closed much on the back of the 19, so clearly we don't have maybe the best car right now in the field, but still very competitive nonetheless as we dive down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage 2. Stenhouse wins the first 2 stages. We come through out of turns 4 to cross the line in P8, but still 2 stages remain now, with the longest stage of the night coming at us to set us up for that qualifying reset here at the end of lap 65, as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. showing to be very strong so far here in this race. Car is good, boys, but I don't really know if anyone has anything for that 47. He is looking really good today. There you hear myself again on the radio as you see the rest of the finishing order from stage 2, and Kevin Harvick now will get the lucky dog there. Gregson had the lucky dog at the end of stage 1, and he was able to stay on the lead lap. So now John Hunter Nemechek will be the only driver a lap down here as we are ready to take the green flag for the start of stage 3, which is now underway. But unlike a normal career mode race, this is not the final stage. We still have one more to go at the end of this one, and it'll be significantly shorter as we actually get forced 3 wide by Josh Bilicki and Chase Elliott there. A bit of a moment, but we do keep it all clean here as we go down this backstretch into turn 3. 30 laps to go here in stage 3. So this usually means we're going to run into lap traffic if it stays green. We usually always get a good green flag run at Martinsville, no matter all-star race or not just a regular season race, a playoff race. So I was anticipating it staying green for quite some time now as we're up the inside of that 32 of Corey LaJoie. And when the lap traffic does come into effect at a track like Martinsville, it always plays into the player's advantage. So I was looking forward to that quite a bit now as we're also trying to get up the inside of Denny Hamlin there into turns 1. He's now stuck on the outside, but gets a pretty good exit out of the corner, actually. It's almost clear of me as we go down into turns 3, but we're able to battle back up the inside now. As you can already see, Stenhouse opening up a gap to second place of Chase Briscoe. What an interesting season it has been for that 14 at Briscoe. He got injured back in a crash at Texas, missed a couple races where Haley Deegan actually filled in for him. Now Haley Deegan is, of course, going to be Briscoe's teammate next season as she drives the 4 car in replacement of Kevin Harvick, who is retiring now, as we would continue on our way towards the top 5 position, passing the 19 of Harrison Burton. So after getting sent to the back after that vote, we have worked our way into the top 5 with 20 laps to go here. Now into turns 3, you see Briscoe, Buescher, Almirola, our next 3 targets here. Almirola having a great run. We're seeing drivers with the equal engines. Definitely it's playing into the favors of drivers like Almirola, Buescher, and Steno specifically, who we never really see run that good here in the career mode, as well as even Josh Bilicki having a really good run. And here they all are tonight, just showing up, having great performances compared to what they usually have. We usually see Buescher kind of turn up for a race or 2, and same for Eric Almirola, but Stenhouse is definitely the driver that I'm most surprised by as he continues to lead the way. Now lap traffic, though, with a little bit over 15 laps to go in stage 3, was becoming a factor to deal with. So I was now getting very excited because here I am on the back of second place. Chase Briscoe up the inside as well of the 17 of Chris Buescher. All of these passes right here are going to be for positions on both of these drivers now, as we also are lapping the 20 of Christopher Bellins. I'm not going to be afraid to force a 3 wide there. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2 for a brief moment there, but we exit the corner clear, and now up to the runner-up second position we go, as we would also get to the inside of Ryan Blaney, who was having a terrible night, and I was getting closer and closer to that 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who's on that outside. Now Buescher, he had moved into P3, and he was just kind of chilling behind me at this point. He really wasn't trying to force anything. Now as I put my teammate of Alex Bowman a lap down as well. But now within 4 to 5 car lengths or so of the leader of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., less than 10 laps ago at this point, now on lap 57 of 65 in stage 3. And now we are here to the back of the number 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as we go down into turns 1, 8 laps to go in stage 3, and we are now bumper to bumper with Stenhouse, myself, as well as Chris Buescher, but the door was left open on lap 59 of the turns 2, and now we're going to make a move to the inside a little bit sideways there on the exit of the corner, starting to lose grip in this car now as we send it up the inside of the 47 of Stenhouse to the back of the number 16 of Justin Haley now as we are side by side for the lead with 6 to go in stage 3 now as we try to get clear of that 47 and run away with the stage victory. It looked like it was Daniel Suarez as well as Kyle Larson in the 99 and the 5 car kind of holding up both lanes in front of us, and it was keeping myself and Stenhouse quite even here in the corners now as we're just looking for that opportunity to get clear of that 47. I was definitely considering taking it 3-1, but I ended up not needing to right there because we do clear Stenhouse, but I decided to do it anyways here with 5 laps to go into turns 1. So now Buescher, he moves through into P2. Stenhouse falling off here very late in this stage now as we send it up the inside of our rival of Joey Logano. Then we just continue here to 2 laps to go in stage 3, now 3 wide with Kyle Busch as we come through out of turn 2. Chastain was on the far outside, slipping and sliding again on the exit of the corner now as we lunge up the inside, make it 3 wide again with Austin Dillon as well as Kyle Larson out of turns 4, coming through to the final lap of stage 3 now to the inside of Suarez. Also, by the way, just because of all-star race purposes, NASCAR has decided even if you go a lap down here at the end of stage 3, everybody gets to go back on the lead lap now as we go down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage 3. We've come from the back after the vote, and we are going to come through to win stage 3 here in the all-star race, but that means we still have 1 stage to go there, as you would see the finishing order, or at least the top 10, I should say, on your screen, because those are the main cars you want to watch going into this qualifying reset here at Martinsville. This will be a bit of an immersion breaker because we qualified in the daytime for this, but it was the best I could do. But basically, the goal was everybody gets a feel for their car, and now everybody gets to run a qualifying lap here, making the proper adjustments to their car to set themselves up for the final 10 laps of this all-star race. And I was very confident in the car here as we come through out of turns 4. Will we be still P1? We're about to find out coming to the line. We just barely missed out on the goal. And no, we qualified P6 for the final 10 lap dash to decide the all-star victory. So we're going to be starting on the outside. Drivers like DeBenedetto, CJ McLaughlin with a great run there all of a sudden. William Byron, Eric Almirola still remains in a good position. Brandon Jones up here in the top 5. So there you see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ends up all the way down in P13. So very surprising for him. Now as I actually bumped up my adjustments there to make it a little bit looser. I went with, I think, preset 7 for this 10 lap dash now as we get ready. There you see as well Noah Gragson still struggling, by the way, now down in like 38th here as we would get ready to go green though for the final 10 laps of this all-star race here from P6 now as the green flag is back out, and now Matt DiBenedetto finds himself on that front row. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to slow up in the middle of the straightaway so I can get down to the inside, because if I'm stuck on the top, we're going to have no chance of winning at the end of these 10 laps here now, as that we know we got to get aggressive right away. We lunge up the inside here of Brandon Jones and Eric Almirola and McLaughlin, and we now move already up into P3 there as we exit turns 4. So a great start there for this final 10 lap dash here in stage 4. Now 9 laps to go. DiBenedetto, William Byron, myself, your top 3 here as we exit turns 2. I wasn't actually being too aggressive at this point because I knew now we were in the prime position here, knowing how good this car is as we come through though. Now you see out of turns 2, William Byron passes the number 10 car of Matt DiBenedetto, and I'm just going to follow through. Like I said, wasn't feeling too much pressure at this point. I felt like I was faster than the 88, so I felt like we were in the best position possible here in the final 10 lap dash. So now to lap 5 of this 10 lap dash, approaching the final 5 laps here in the all-star race for the first time ever in the career mode. Byron leads the way over myself, and we've had a bit of a 2-car breakaway. DiBenedetto now under attack though from the 96 of Brandon Jones. As you can see in the rear view mirror, I'm starting to struggle with grip again, by the way, in this car, but we're right on the back of the 88 of William Byron. This time I decided, you know what, we're just going to try and move him out of the way here as we go down into turns 1, sending him a little bit sideways into the corner, but he makes a good save there as we come through to the final 4 laps of this race here. Within a few car lengths, once again, 3 laps to go. Once again, into the back of the 88 of Byron, sending him up the track a little bit sideways. A great save right there as we come through out of turns 2. 2.5 laps to go here in the all-star race now as Brandon Jones in P3. Nothing from him to even run us down as we exit turns 4 all over the back of that 88 of Byron, as I nearly put myself in the wall now, as we're both, of course, Hendrick affiliate teammates at least now as we go down into turns 1. Still trying to move him out of the way now as we come through out of of turns 2 down the back straightaway, approaching the final lap, and here's the big push to the inside now as we get him out of the way, and now side by side as we come through out of turns 4, a decent exit from Byron, but we have an even better one as the final lap is underway here in the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race. Into turns 1 and 2, we run the 88 up the track a little bit, hit the curb, but it does not matter. We clear William Byron down the back straightaway here on this final lap in the Martinsville Speedway All-Star Race. As we come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, we will come through for the first time in the career mode history to win the All-Star Race. How about that? I'll definitely take it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this kind of unique idea. I didn't really know how to go about it, but I felt like it kind of went pretty well. So if you guys want me to continue to do an all-star race like this in the future, definitely let me know. And obviously I kind of had to do it with 40 cars just the way it was, so that's why I kind of added the equal engine kind of feature to it now to kind of keep it different still. So I felt like overall it was really cool, and if we do it in the future, we're definitely going to run it at different tracks pretty much every season now. So hopefully we can still get another 2 or 3 seasons in the career mode at least before the next NASCAR game comes out. Obviously we don't know when it's coming out yet, but now as you can see, we come through around the straightaway, or around the track on the front straightaway, to do some more burnouts there. And after a great race here at Martinsville Speedway, definitely wasn't as chaotic as I thought it would be. We definitely could have passed Byron to the inside, likely a lot cleaner than I did, as we had the speed to pass him, but I kind of just wanted to move him out of the way. Now, as you see the rest of the finishing order, Kevin Harvick ended up getting a P20 finish out of it after going a lap down in that first stage. Now, Kyle Busch ended up rebounding to P23. Hamlin fell down to P30. Gragson up to 33rd. Bowman down in 34th. Chastain 37th. And at the very bottom of the field, once again, John Hunter Nemechek. Didn't matter what rules you threw in the way of John Hunter Nemechek to help him out, it didn't work. He still finished at the back. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. In the next one, we do the Pocono doubleheader weekend. So we're going to be doing both of those races in one episode of the Tricky Triangle. So race number 18 and 19 closing in towards the end of the regular season. And now it's starting to look like we might actually get some drivers in on points in this playoff grid, which is just still quite unique this season with all the different winners that we have had. But I would like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode, and of course would like to say a quick thank you before we end it to the Goin Racing members on the channel: MJ, Aiden G, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, Brett Durward, NASCAR Collector 3, as well as Movement. As I always mentioned, you guys help me out so much and I really do appreciate it, and I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one for the Pocono doubleheader. Have a great day, everybody.